Hi guys, Shelley here, and this is the second time I've recorded this video because it turns out my camera turned itself off. But anyway, hi and welcome to my April wrap-up. I thought I was having a bad month this month and I wasn't reading that much, but it turns out that I've read about 8.5 books and I'm not really sure how that happened, but it did. So, without further ado and in no particular order, the first book I'm going to show you that I read this month is Obsidian by Jennifer L. Armentrout. And I love this. It follows a young girl named Katie who moves to a new town with her mum. Her next door neighbours are two young people named Damon and Dee, a brother and sister. But then somebody tries to kill Katie and Damon comes rushing to her rescue, and it turns out that to come to her rescue he uses powers because he's an alien. Because of him saving her, she has this trace put on her, which means that other aliens can tell that there are aliens around. So basically Damon has to hang out with her a lot to keep an eye on her, and they don't get on at all, but at the same time they're really attracted to each other, so it kind of follows as they argue a lot while he's trying to protect her. And oh my god, I loved it so much. The relationship between Katie and Damon is so sassy and argumentative. It's like reading tennis. They're just backwards and forwards at each other constantly. Jennifer L. Armentrout, you have done it again. This is brilliant. I love it so much. The next book was an unexpected read for me, and that is Paper Towns by John Green. I saw this in the library and I was just like, oh, I haven't read this yet, let's pick it up. And it follows a young man named Quentin. He's in the last year of high school, he's about to graduate, and he's obsessed with his next door neighbour Margot, who it turns out is planning on running away. It follows him trying to find her because it turns out she's left kind of little clues as to where she's gone. I didn't enjoy this as much as I thought I would. I'm guessing this has something to do with The Fault in Our Stars. Every time I read a John Green book I expect it to be as magical for me as The Fault in Our Stars was, and this wasn't. That's not to say it's not a good book. The language, again, John Green picks wonderful words and makes a sentence in a way that I've never known anybody to. I didn't really take to Margot very much. I thought she was very selfish in the way that she had just run away and she was impacting on all these people's lives, but hadn't really thought about how she could possibly ruin other people's lives by just taking off, and I kind of just want to shake her by the shoulders. Next is Trouble by Non Pratt. It follows a young girl named Hannah who is 15 and who is high school, and I don't know if you can see, but the book cover is covered in sperm, so you can probably guess what happens. She gets knocked up. So a guy who moved to school a few months before, named Aaron, decides to kind of offer himself up as baby daddy, and it follows the relationship between Hannah and Aaron as they kind of cope with all the outside things of high school kind of pressing in on them. I really liked this book. I love the way Non Pratt wrote it so that you are completely immersed in high school again. I remember high school like this. I remember the backstabbing and the partying that people wanted to do to pretend they were cool. I think this is Non Pratt's first book. This is flipping brilliant, so I can't wait to read more of her stuff. I'd also love to know if Non Pratt is her actual name, because if it is, her parents are super cool, though Non Pratt, I'm guessing it's a pen name, but who knows. Next book I read, I've probably mentioned a few times before, and that is Finding Colin Firth by Mia March. Leanna sent this to me as part of the My Old Books project. This is about three friends who, through their own devices, end up in the same harbour town in Maine. The town is also kind of playing host to a film crew because Colin Firth's latest movie is going to be filmed there. There is a lot of pie in this book and there is a lot of yummy food, and the whole way through all I wanted to do was eat. Leanna said in her review of this book that it reminded her of a movie called The Waitress. The whole time I was reading it, my brain was just kind of singing, baby don't cry, gonna make a pie, gonna make a pie with a heart in the middle. The next book I read was Anna and the French Kiss by Stephanie Perkin. This follows, kind of as it says on the front of the book, a young girl named Anna whose father suddenly becomes kind of rich and famous and so decides to send her against her will to high school in Paris, and she hates it for a little while until she bumps into a guy named St. Clair who is gorgeous and lovely, and she has rather a crush on him until she finds out he has a girlfriend. I really loved this book. It made me want to go to Paris, and I've never wanted to go to Paris before. I've always thought it was really touristy and kind of cliche, but this kind of tells you about the little back places and the food, and yeah, I think I'm having a food month. This is food. Finding Colin first was pie. I've been very hungry this month. I really liked the way it followed the relationship between Anna and St. Clair. It just really reminded me of falling in love for the first time, and it's a beautiful book. Next book is Half Bad by Sally Green. This follows a young man named Nathan who is a witch, and it follows the lives of witches. There are good witches and there are bad witches, and Nathan is half and half, and this is very, very rare. He's being brought up by his mother's side of the family, so the good witch side of the family, and there's a sort of a ministry authority thing going on in the background that control all the witches. They have kind of ulterior motives that slowly come out throughout the book. I didn't really take to this book, but I didn't take to Nathan at all. Some of his decisions really perplexed me. It ended on a cliffhanger, so I'm guessing there's going to be more of these, and I'm sure it was just me who didn't like this book, because loads of people have done. So if you're already thinking of reading it, don't let me put you off, because it is a great book. It didn't take to it myself. The next 2.5 books I have to bring you were Kindle Books. I'm currently staying at my mum's, which has a massive plus of the fact she has an iPad, so I can use Kindle. I've never used Kindle before, it's all very exciting for me. First book that I read was Be With Me by J.Lynn. This is the third in the kind of Wait For Me, Trust With Me, Be With Me series that J.Lynn has been doing. This one follows a young girl called Teresa, who, if you've read Wait For Me, is Cam's younger sister. And she's dealing with the fact she's had to leave the life that she loves, and also she's dealing with the fact that her brother's best friend Jace kissed her a year ago. Don't go there, because there's gonna be a mess up. And oh my god, I love it again, J.Lynn! She keeps writing these books with all these emotions, and oh, I really love them. I read this one in like 24 hours. I couldn't put the iPad down. My mum was just like, can you come and talk to the family now and be part of it? I'm just like, no, book. The next book I read is only a little one, and it's the last in the series of the Bane Chronicles. The Course of True Love and First Dates by Cassandra Clare. I think there's been 10 Bane Chronicles, I'm not sure. This is the only one I've read, and it's the last one. This one follows his first date with Alex. It's so cute. Him and Alex together are adorable. Oh, I love this so much. It's just, it's so full of cute and feels, and Cassandra Clare, thank you so much for doing a Magnus Bane series. And my last book that I want to bring you is Fire and Flood by Victoria Scott. I read this as part of a read-along for a live show with, let me see if I can get this right, Sarah Churchill from Clumsiness is a Curse, Daisy from Thousand Lives of Daisy, Casey from The Bitter Productions, Megan Olivier from Megan Olivier, and Ben from Ben of Tomes, I think his name is, I don't know. They're going to do a live show about this book, I think at the end of May, and I'll put a link down below because there's still plenty of time if you want to join in the read-along. It's kind of difficult for me to describe this one because I get really confused. The book follows a young girl named Tella who has an older brother who is sick. To get a cure for his illness, she is invited to be a contender in something called the Brimstone Bleed, which is a game made up of loads of challenges set up by some rather shady people, it turns out. Each contender has this kind of little Pandora, which is a sort of Pokemon / spirit animal. It helps them get through the Brimstone Bleed. I really enjoyed it. I took to Tella's character quite a lot, though at the beginning she's rather moany and whiny because her hair's not right and she doesn't look right, and she's just basically a really self-conscious teenager. But after a while she just stops caring about that and she's just trying to save her brother. But at the same time, all these other factors are coming in of that she's making friends with these people that she's in there with. But then you have the bad guys as well, inside the Brimstone Bleed and outside. It's kind of pointed at the fact that there's something else going on throughout the whole book. And this is going to be a series, I'm guessing, because it ended on a cliffhanger, and I want to know what happened. And I can't wait to find out what everybody else thought of it in the live show. Rumour has it that Victoria Scott is going to participate in the live show, which is amazing. And that's it. That's 8.5 books. I can't believe I read that many this month. I really did think I was having a quiet month. So for now, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Okay, bye!